Thank you so much for staying with us. It is still iBrand Easter Special, and we're delving into the meat of the program, talking about the essence of Easter as we celebrate the commemoration of the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ, which is what Easter stands for. And most importantly, today being Good Friday, a day observed by Christians all over the world to commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. It is necessary to draw our attention to the significance of the occasion, our expectation, and then what our attitude should be this season. And joining us to discuss this is Adedamola Daniels. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very
Now,
much.
yes, the Easter season is usually a long period that begins with fasting and then culminates into Good Friday, Saturday, and then you wrap it up with the Easter Sunday. And then, yes, there's the Monday celebration also. So it's a whole long period of celebration. But let's talk about what the significance of this period or season is.
Yeah, thank you for having me. In a nutshell, Easter is a word used to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And as a Christian, that's the fundamental, is an integral part of our faith. We won't be called Christians if there wasn't resurrection of Jesus Christ. So it's so significant. To some people, it's even more significant than the birth, because, I mean, everybody can come to life. But what separated Christianity, what separated Jesus from every other, quote and unquote savior, is the fact that he came, he thought about his death, he promised that he was going to rise up again, and he did. So that is the crux of Easter. We are celebrating the fact that we are Christian, what gave us our identity, what gave us our faith, what we knew our relationship with God. That is how important Easter is to us.
So talk to us about the fasting season. I know that there are different ideas or different perception to the fasting season. Some denominations believe that, yes, you have to fast the whole 40 days. Some people believe I don't have to fast the first 40 days. I can desecrate or consecrate a special time for my own fast. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, one of the things that Easter or the resurrection of Jesus revealed to us is the fact that we were able to move from just being a servant or just being a mere follower to becoming a son. And what that implies is that some of these laws, I mean, you now become so, you enter into this realm of the spirit where your relationship is not governed just by the law. So, I mean, some people fast, some people don't fast, but it all depends on your personal conviction and personal relationship with the Father.
So what's the essence of the fast itself?
I mean, what does fasting? Fasting basically, I mean, in a nutshell, is just it makes you deprive. Is a season where you deprive yourself of some bodily or earthly pleasures.
No, I'm saying in connection with Easter, the fasting
season. So some people just use it to to prepare themselves. I mean, so what that does, because you deprive yourself of some pleasure, some people go into that season just to feel the importance of the occasion itself. So fasting, it makes you remember, puts you in that sober mode, just to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord.
So it has nothing to do with the fact that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40
so
nights.
like I said, I mean, the question of fasting or faith has been a conversation that is just better left unsaid, because I mean, you don't want to go into some doctrines. So because we are not celebrating doctrines, we are just celebrating relationships. I mean, some people fast. I mean, I have not fasted this period, but I mean, I live a fasted life. So but I'm not a yardstick. So we just leave it to your personal.
I'll take you to some disparities, of course, or disagreement in doctrines within the Christian folk at this time. But let's dwell on that fasting a little bit. I mean, do I have to wait for this time? Because I understand that some people will have to wait for this period before they can, even start fasting. But do I have to wait? Is it seasonal? Within the Christian fold, is fasting seasonal, or it should be something that should come naturally?
No, it's not seasonal. So we need to, I try to explain this thing by using simple words. What is the purpose of fasting? When you understand the intent and the purpose of fasting, you realize that you can't wait for a season to do it. So the essence of fasting is to, subject your body, because we live on earth and we are bound by the system of the world. You fast, you live a fasted life to subject your body so that you can connect with the spirit of the Father itself. And I don't think it's right to just wait. No, I withdraw that were not right. I don't think it is enough to wait for a particular season, because you live, as long as you are breathing, you are subject to the temptations of the world. You are subject to forces around the world. So it's just good to live a
I just want you
fasted
to
life.
highlight a few key points that comes. Yes, some people have been fasting for the past 1 month, like as it is. But I just want you to give us highlights of some of these blessings, because in Christendom, they believe that, okay, once you fasted out of a period, and you have to break or culminate into this season, and then there are some blessings that come with that. So just give us a highlight of some of these spiritual blessings that
The
you
one,
believe come with this.
thank you very much. The one blessing that comes with fasting is that you are able to communicate and grow your intimacy with the Father. Why? Because while you are fasting, it is assumed that you are more tuned to with hearing intently, from the Father. So the crux of fasting, the major blessing of fasting to me, is that you grow your intimacy with the Father. You be more like the Father. You yearn to be more like the Father, which is the reason why Jesus died. Jesus didn't die just for us to have money or just for us to get married. He died so that we can be translated in becoming like the Father. So when you fast, that's one of the major highlights.
You also were talking about, just a quick one, that we do not fasting doesn't have to be seasonal. Yes. I mean, I understand that, okay, even at the moment we have the Muslim folks who are also fasting. Yes, so there's a bit of similarity here. Why the Christian perhaps just ended their own fast, and then we're seeing the Muslim
the Ramadan
faithful also doing Ramadan at the moment. So is there a difference, or is this the same fasting? I mean, people may like to know.
Well, okay, so I'm being very, very careful to, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, the crux of our faith is that we believe in Jesus and he died and that he rose again. So any body that does not accept what we see as the core, I do not see that as the same.
Okay.
I don't know if you get my point.
Okay.
The crux of my faith is that Jesus did not just come to preach as a teacher. He did not just come to heal. He came as the Son of God, gave up his rights as the Son of God, died for the sinful man, then rose again. Because it is in the rising again that he gave us the power to be like God. So any organization that does not, that negates that core of my faith, I cannot say that we are on the same page.
So it's not the same fasting period, so it's a different thing. Okay,
totally
just a quick
different
one. Let me take you away from that and look at the some different, doctrinal beliefs within the Christian fold. Yes, I know that there's a Pentecostal part of the Christendom. There's also the Catholic, the Presbyterian are also there as well. But the doctrines of fasting, does it also apply? Because I believe that it's only perhaps in the Catholic that push this length of a thing. In the Pentecostal, you rarely see that happen. I mean, they do not really have maybe a season for fast and all of that, but in the Catholic, it does happen. So how do you harmonize? Is it still the same thing, or is it proper to have this disagreement in terms of differences in doctrines as regard fast?
Okay, well, God created us in different ways. I mean, okay, male, female, but we have different shade of color, different height. If I choose to have my diet 1-1-1, that's morning, afternoon, night, and a person chooses to do it 1-0-1. I mean, the fact that you are eating, that's what matters. I try my best not to get into conversations about doctrine, because the truth of the matter is that there's some knowledge that are not needed. I mean, our goal should be about Jesus. Whichever way you choose to reach him, it should be about Jesus. So the fast might be different in terms of in terms of application, and then in terms of
Period.
process and period.
And then there's also the
Because-
white fast, the
I mean,
different kinds of fast.
But like I said, going back to the crux of this celebration is when Jesus died, he broke the walls, he broke the laws, he broke the routine.
Divisions.
But we should be careful why following the the new life that Jesus gave us. We should be careful why doing that. We do not undermine the laws that guide us. But
Let's talk about some of the practices that follow the Easter season. For instance, today is Good Friday. A lot of people, especially the Orthodox churches, do not believe in eating meat this season. What are your thoughts on that?
okay, so like I used to tell people, one of the things that make Christianity today is the fact that we need when we choose the simplicity of the Word of God, the complexity that brings that shows up in our diversity will be minimal. So I don't I like to stay with the crux of the moment. Whether some people choose to eat it's left to you. But the crux of Easter, you'll be shocked that the word Easter is not even in the Bible. So it's not really about the word.
So
Easter.
where did the word come from?
I don't want to go deep into, but the truth of the matter is that when after resurrection, after there was a lot of pressure, the Christianity and Christian faithfuls were under a lot of persecution, so they weren't free to express themselves. But the summary is that then because of that oppression, there were a lot of different religion, different things,
Factions.
but by the time Christianity gained its supremacy or its boldness, there are a lot of other seasons that had been happening. But because you live in the world, there's a calendar system. So sometimes, the word Easter came from a particular other
Calendar.
calendar, but you just needed to fit in. But like I said, because some people can argue that why is it particular April? So rather than focus or deliberate on what divides us, let's focus on what unites us, which is this: Jesus died, he rose again to give us power to live above sin. And this is my summary. Until you understand the power of sin, you cannot appreciate the price of salvation and resurrection. And that should be the focus. Whether there's fasting. And so I'd rather we talk about what Easter did to us, which is the power to live above sin. We must understand that before Jesus came, man was condemned to sin. Jesus came so that he can replace our damnation to sin. And then he rose again as a sign that we can now live above sin.
But some people will tell you that Jesus isn't the first to die, because we saw Lazarus, who was dead for 4 days, and then he rose, and that isn't the first. So what makes this different? What's special about it?
Not even Lazarus. Let's come to our recent time. A lot of people have claimed to be Jesus, and even husbands die for their wives. But the question is, who was asked to die? Jesus is the only teacher, only Messiah that boldly proclaimed that is the way, the truth, and the life. Except through him, no one can go through the Father. If you check all through lifetime, no prophet, no Messiah was able to declare that. And apart from that, is the only Messiah that you don't have a trace to his tomb. So even though so you can't compare people like Lazarus, because it was a miracle for him to live again. So Jesus is not a Lazarus. Jesus died.
It wasn't a miracle for Jesus to
it wasn't a miracle. It was an assignment, and it was a plan. It wasn't because when he rose again, he did not come to start living again and then died again. Every other person that did that, they still eventually died. But Jesus died for our sin. That was his purpose. That was his purpose.
Interesting, and I believe that a lot of people can relate to what you're saying now. But let's look at one thing that has also been the center of debate or discussion is the issue of not being able to express some of these benefits that you're talking about within the Christian in terms of what people can relate to or relate with. I'm talking about either a way of sharing love, expression from the Christian brother or the Christian sister there. So how should we express this essence of Easter to the next guy, the next door? I mean, because people want to feel, okay, if you're a Christian, show me if you're a Christian. So what should we be preaching this season?
Okay, first, so I feel that the first message you should preach should be to yourself. That, okay, so I'm taking 2 days off from work. I'm not, I need to reflect. Why am I getting this holiday? The first message is that, are you really living the life the man who took upon your sin and yet died for you? Are you living the life he wants you to live? So instead of focusing on showing love, yeah, it's amazing, but you can't give what you don't have. Jesus is love. God is love. So until we understand that our life must be across purpose with the man that died for us, then we don't have the right to start giving what we don't have. So in this moment of celebration of the death and the resurrection of Jesus, the first message is, am I living the life he died for? Because you must first look at what is the essence of Easter. When he died, he restored your relationship with the Father. When he died, he restored your self-worth as a child of God. When he died, he restored you as a son. You are no longer a slave. Until you understand what he died for, you don't have the right to be given what he gave you. Because you don't have it. So the love of God that we are meant to teach to our neighbors and all, it's not just about food, it's not about, it's about first giving the life he gave us.
But it's food, not
the core aspect of celebration.
Yeah. I mean, it's not part of. Do you think it's not part of the celebration? Because a lot of people, just like in Africa, we like to, extend love via the gesture
sharing of food,
sharing of food, and all of that. Isn't it part of that? Or hanging out with friends, going out to just show somebody love, or
absolutely part of it. But I want to ask you a question. I mean, if you.
And I hope I can answer that question.
You've been asking me questions.
because,
I'm not sure
because I'm the anchor here, so I hope I can answer your question.
I hope I did answer.
Okay.
So let me just put it to you.
Right.
I mean, you you gave up your life for me, or for a set of us, and giving up your life didn't mean you died, but you died. Well, you gave up your everything, your education, your salary, just to ensure that. Your sibling, we are okay. And then you come back home one day, you see us we are throwing a party, sharing food, and there's no semblance of your character, the things you stood for, your integrity, your values. There's no semblance of that in that party. But you came back to let's say you were arrested and you were jailed for like 30 years, and you now came back and you saw us celebrating your birthday but with no semblance of you. How would you feel? That is what happens when we are sharing food. Some people say they are sharing they are celebrating Easter, but they are doing the things that is against the will of God.
So the essence is not just to share
it's
food.
Not just
why you are sharing? Yes,
food.
it's okay, but then you should have the fundamental things.
It's just it's the secondary. The fundamental remains critical. Jesus died so that we can live above sin. Do you know that there are over 120 sins that the Bible highlighted? See, and all of those sins were encapsulated in the 10 Commandments. So even though the 10 Commandments was in the Old Testament, all of it, they were encapsulated in the 2 that Jesus gave. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. That is loving God passionately and personally. Then love your neighbor as you love yourself. every other thing you do outside that space is just secondary.
So, the most important thing is to put Jesus Christ at the center of the celebration.
And when I mean center, I don't mean that you just go to church, you know, and then you go and do your... No. It's about him. It's about you carrying his essence, living above sin,
and sharing the life
in
too.
the reality of your identity first as a son of God.
So that you can preach the message through your life. Thank you so much, Adedamola Daniels. And I wish you a fantastic Easter celebration.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time.
All right, time for another break. When we come back, there's still so much to enjoy on the show today. And I hope you're ready for the fun. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.